On this episode of Next Coaster, we will be predicting the next thrill machine heading to Chicago's biggest theme park, Six Flags Great America. A park known for thinking outside of the box and introducing some of the world's first of its kind attractions. In the last 10 years, Great America has seen 4 major roller coaster additions, including the new for 2019, Maxx Force. And this theme park has showed no signs of slowing down. So, could another never-before-seen roller coaster be in the works? Find out as we speculate on the next roller coaster coming to Six Flags Great America. Hey everyone, this is Cullah Hale, and welcome to another episode of Next Coaster, where we take a well-known amusement park and speculate on what style of ride the park's next coaster might be. In today's episode, we chose a well-known Six Flags park, Six Flags Great America. Although the park just added North America's fastest accelerating coaster in 2019, it is never too early to look at what might be coming next. Six Flags Great America is located in Gurnee, Illinois, which is just outside the city of Chicago. Six Flags Great America averages around 3 million guests per year and spans over 304 acres of land. The park was purchased by Bally Amusements, and in 1984, Great America would officially become a Six Flags park. Since then, we have seen a number of record-breaking coasters installed, so this begs the question: what type of coaster could Great America add for their next record breaker? Well, let's take a look at some factors we considered when making our predictions. First, we examine the current coaster lineup. The park has 15 operating roller coasters, including 4 from the famous Swiss manufacturer Bollinger & Mabillard, also known as B&M, and 3 wooden roller coasters. So, they have really put together a fantastic collection. I've actually done a video giving you my top 10 coasters at Six Flags Great America. I will link that in the card above. But this amusement park has been one of the few Six Flags locations that have seen a steady diet of investments. Just look at the last 10 years. They added a B&M wing coaster, X-Flight, in 2012, Goliath, a wooden coaster from Rocky Mountain Construction, in 2014, Joker, a S&S 40 free spin, in 2017, and Maxx Force, an S&S air launch coaster, in 2019. Not only does this show us that Six Flags has added a new roller coaster every 2 to 3 years at Great America, but you can also see that the last 3 coasters were manufactured by S&S and Rocky Mountain Construction, something we will keep in mind for our predictions. Our second factor was looking for ride models that have never been done before. As I mentioned earlier, the park is also historically known for adding first-of-its-kind attractions, so there is a good chance that their next coaster could be a model that has not yet been installed before at a Six Flags or even in the world. There have been some interesting new concepts unveiled in the last few years that could show up at Great America. Another factor was looking at manufacturers that the Six Flags chain has been working with recently. S&S, RMC, and Premier Rides have all added coasters in the Six Flags chain within the last 3 years. So it is very likely that Six Flags will work with one of these 3 manufacturers on Great America's next coaster project. Finally, with Six Flags choosing to go with smaller investments, we will need to look at coaster designs that have relatively low costs. Six Flags gives really high discounts on season passes, which is really great for our pockets, but you also get what you pay for. Six Flags' new business model has been to avoid the $20 million roller coaster and instead go for the smaller coasters with high thrills. RMC, S&S, and Premier Rides all have models that serve this need for Six Flags, so it is likely that their next coaster will be built by one of those manufacturers. Now that we've set the table, let's get into our predictions. First up is the Raptor Coaster from RMC. The Raptor Coaster model debuted in 2018 at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas, with Wonder Woman Golden Lasso Coaster. This is a single rail coaster with single file seating. This allows for some crazy maneuvers. Those who have ridden Wonder Woman have said that the ejector airtime is the strongest they've ever experienced. Now, the one downfall to this design is capacity, as each train on Wonder Woman only holds 8 riders. And earlier this year, I would have been laughing at myself for thinking Six Flags would add a single rail model to one of their larger parks like Great America. However, the announcement of Jersey Devil Coaster at Six Flags Great Adventure for 2020 has changed my mind. Jersey Devil Coaster is a large-scale version of Wonder Woman at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas, with a longer track length and longer trains that hold 12 riders. I think this shows that Six Flags is more than willing to add a Raptor coaster at one of their larger parks despite the low capacity. Now, I think it is very likely that if Six Flags Great America goes with the RMC Raptor, that it will be a clone or mirrored layout of Jersey Devil Coaster. That way, both coasters can hold the same records for tallest, longest single rail coaster. Six Flags and Cedar Fair both love to do this with their record-breaking rides, as this allows them to market both coasters as holding a world record. It would be nice if it was a custom layout, but looking at the history of Six Flags, cloned attractions are in their DNA. Honestly, I wouldn't be disappointed by this because Jersey Devil Coaster looks fantastic. Another reason I could see Great America install a Raptor is that the model provides a high thrill for a low budget and compact footprint. Raptor coasters were meant for smaller parks that might not have the investment power to get large-scale B&M or Intamin coasters. Of course, Six Flags is looking to go cheap at every park, so this is why the Raptor coaster model seems very attractive. The Raptor coaster would also be a very unique attraction to the park. Yes, they already have Whizzer, a coaster with single-filed seating. However, the elements on Raptor coasters are much more extreme than that of Whizzers. So the experience this coaster could provide will certainly stand out compared to the rest of the coasters in the park. Now, the reason we may not see the Raptor coaster come is that another park in the area, Six Flags St. Louis, may be getting a Raptor coaster. But in all seriousness, there is a chance that Six Flags St. Louis could add a Raptor in 2021, and if they do, it won't make sense for Great America to get one a year or two later. By the way, if you want to check out my predictions for Six Flags St. Louis's next coaster, I will pop that in the card above. So taking all this into consideration, I'm giving the Raptor coaster a 25% chance of being Six Flags Great America's next coaster. Now, another potential reason for Six Flags Great America to not get the Raptor is it doesn't fit the never been done before in the Six Flags chain theory. This obviously isn't a deal breaker, as recent installments such as Joker 4D Free Fly are an exact clone of other 4D Free Flies at other Six Flags parks. But the next coaster model I am about to discuss is a never been done before attraction and may get placed next in line in front of the Raptor. And that is the newly announced S&S Axis Coaster. The Axis Coaster uses an innovative train design that will allow the coaster cars to rotate on a 360-degree axis from side to side. This will unlock a whole new set of maneuvers and elements that we have never seen before. Now, I did a full prediction video on the Axis Coaster, so if you want to learn more about the new design and my predictions on who might be the first to build one, I will link it in the card above. And yes, one of those parks in that video was Six Flags Great America. As mentioned in the intro, Great America has been known for introducing some of the industry's newest designs. So when the Axis Coaster was unveiled, the first park that came to mind was Six Flags Great America, especially since Six Flags has been heavily working with S&S over the past few years. In fact, the last two coasters added by Six Flags Great America were manufactured by S&S. So obviously with that kind of relationship, it would not at all be shocking if Six Flags and S&S have talked about this option for this particular park. Also, Six Flags needs a bit of a turnaround as the company has had a dismal start to 2020 after the park disclosed that they saw lower attendance in Q4 due to lower than expected season pass and membership sales. I think Six Flags will look to something like the Axis Coaster to grab positive attention and boost those attendance numbers. We saw how the internet reacted when the Axis Coaster was revealed, so we know that wherever this Axis Coaster gets built, it will become a primary destination for all thrill seekers. I think this would be a fantastic way for Six Flags to turn things around. Now, one factor that may hinder the Axis Coaster from happening here is the cost of the ride. I don't have numbers on how much the estimated cost of building an Axis Coaster is, but I am assuming this probably won't be as cheap as your RMC Raptor Coaster model. Knowing Six Flags, if they did choose this model, the layout will likely be pretty short and feature a chain lift instead of an air-powered launch to save on costs. Even then, it will be a matter of will the cost be worth the return? I personally think it would, but I am also not the CEO of Six Flags. So with that, I think the S&S Axis Coaster has a 20% chance of being Six Flags Great America's next coaster. Let's move on to my third prediction, which is a Premier Rides launch coaster. Premier Rides has been working with Six Flags throughout the years, including rides like the Mr. Freeze clones and Magic Mountain's newest coaster, West Coast Racers. Premier Rides offers several different layout types that Six Flags could go with. The ride can be pretty cost effective and fit in many different footprints. Their most compact model is the Skyrocket 2, which has already been added at Discovery Kingdom. Now, one reason I chose this as a third potential option is there have been rumors that V2 might be removed in the near future. Now, let me be clear, these are just rumors. The park has not come out and said that this is actually happening yet, but let's say V2 were to be removed for another coaster. I think a Premier Rides multi-launch model would be the perfect replacement. That way you don't lose the number of launch coasters in the park, and something like a Skyrocket 2 could fit in the footprint of V2 perfectly. So, this is why I think it would be a good third option. However, the big issue with the Premier Rides launch coaster is that Maxx Force, a record-breaking launch coaster in its own right, was added in 2019. It would be really tough to draw in people specifically for that new attraction if the ride is not as fast or as tall as Maxx Force. Now, there are a few ways they could make it stand out from Maxx Force. For example, building something similar to West Coast Racers, which has two coaster trains dueling each other, would help it stand out. But I just don't see this style of coaster being as attractive for Great America compared to the Raptor or Axis Coaster models. And that is why I'm going to give the Premier Rides launch coaster a 10% chance of happening. Now, I'm sure many of you are probably thinking, how has he not mentioned anything about the possibility of RMC American Eagle? For those of you who are unaware, there has been a major rumor for the last few years that RMC is going to redesign the famous American Eagle dueling roller coaster in the park. With the ride turning 40 years old in 2021, and with the cost of maintaining the ride becoming higher, it seems like something will have to be done soon. We saw this happen with another classic wooden dueling coaster, Colossus at Magic Mountain. They redesigned it to Twisted Colossus and gave it crazy elements such as the Top Gun stall. So Six Flags is certainly capable of doing this, and trust me, I would be so excited if this were to be announced. However, I just don't see this likely in the near future. First of all, the park already has an RMC wooden coaster, which has the exact same look and feel as many of their iBox conversions. So the rides would seem very similar to guests. Also, there are so many large hybrid coasters opening now that it will be tough for Six Flags to break any records with this type of ride. Also, I think the cost to pull this off is much more than Six Flags is going to want to spend on a coaster that won't break any records. Now, I certainly won't rule out the Iron Horse treatment happening for American Eagle, but I think that a simple retracking from RMC or GCI of the current layout is more likely. This classic wooden coaster has a lot of historical value to the park, and it continues to be an iconic feature to the skyline, and so I think Six Flags will want to preserve this coaster as long as they can. Therefore, I'm giving the American Eagle RMC conversion a less than 1% chance of occurring. Sorry guys. So this is my prediction on what kind of coaster Six Flags Great America could get, but how soon could we see one of these coasters opening? Well, if we look through the history of Six Flags Great America, we see that they average a new coaster every 2 to 3 years. So although we just saw Maxx Force open in 2019, the park's next coaster could be just around the corner. I think with the possibility of Six Flags St. Louis getting a coaster in 2021, that Great America won't get a coaster in the same year. Therefore, I'm going to predict that Six Flags Great America will add their next coaster in 2022. So these are my predictions on what type of ride Six Flags Great America will add for their next coaster project. Now, I want you to join in on the fun. Leave a comment below stating which coaster type Six Flags Great America could add next. There are so many options out there, and sometimes you all have better ideas than me, so I would love to hear your speculations in the comments. And if you like this style of video, well, I have good news. This is episode 4 of the series, so I'll link the other next coaster videos on other parks such as Silver Dollar City and Cedar Point in the description below. Thank you all for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe below to get more theme park news and content. This is Cullah Hale from Destination Thrills. Have a good one.